How are you? I'm fine. People say these words to each other without thinking too much about them. Oh, I have a cold, someone may say. That's too bad, you reply. I hope you feel better soon. No one likes to be sick. We can't do our work or other things that we like to do. Being healthy has a lot of benefits. Does anyone ever ask our native prairie, how are you? What would the response be? Oh, I've been better. I'm losing weight and seem to be shrinking a little more each day. My skin is getting patchy and infected. My eating habits have changed, and I don't seem to have a lot of energy anymore. I wish someone could help me. We only have about 20% of our native prairie left in Saskatchewan. It's part of the temperate grassland biome, cool climate grasslands that include the steppes of Russia and the veldt of South Africa. It's one of the rarest biomes on Earth. Most of it has been converted to cropland as the soils are very fertile. Climate shapes the prairies. If there was more rain, trees would grow instead of grasses. Heat and cold mark the cycle of the seasons. The life cycles of native prairie plants and animals are in tune with the seasons and with each other. Millions of bison once grazed the prairie grasses. These huge herbivores were preyed upon by prairie wolves and plains grizzlies. All these are gone now. The food chains have been altered, and now cattle graze the prairie and are part of our food chain. Many of us don't think about the past that food or products travel before we get them. Now that products come to us from all over the world, it is even harder to connect resource use and ecosystem health. First Nations were able to survive the extreme prairie climate because they respected their close relationship to the land that supplied them with their basic needs. We seem to have forgotten how connected we are to nature as we hurry through our days. We need to pause and take a deep breath and then let it out. Imagine the carbon dioxide molecules that leave your body each time you exhale. Some of the carbon in them may have been part of the meal you ate yesterday. Imagine the carbon dioxide being carried on air currents out of the building and swept up in the prairie wind. One of these carbon dioxide molecules makes its way into the rolling native prairie where needle and thread, Saskatchewan's provincial grass, grows. Imagine the carbon dioxide molecule entering one of the leaves through a tiny portal. It travels into a leaf cell where the carbon is stripped from the oxygen in a sun-powered cellular factory. The carbon is processed with other carbon atoms to form structures that store energy that came from the sun. The carbon products are used to manufacture all the paths of the grass. Needle and thread is a producer, taking simple things like carbon dioxide and water and turning them into leaves and roots. A Richardson's ground squirrel has no way of using carbon dioxide and water to make food or to provide energy. This little consumer gets carbon-containing food by eating plants. Imagine the squirrel eating the needle and thread leaf for the carbon atom, once part of you, and for the energy, once part of a sunbeam. Richardson's ground squirrels are important components of the food web, and it's not long before a ferruginous hawk swoops down and makes a meal of the squirrel. The carbon is once again airborne, now in the muscles powering the flight of the largest hawk in North America. The ferruginous hawk is top carnivore in the food chain, not needing to watch for anything but the occasional great horned owl. Despite this, the hawk is in trouble. There are very few left in Saskatchewan. This predator depends on native grasslands for survival, and this habitat is disappearing. As well, this is a hawk that doesn't like disturbance, so the increased activity from oil and natural gas exploration can disrupt nesting. Hunting perches are used by the ferruginous hawk. Lone trees are traditional, but now power lines are another option. These power lines hum with energy released from burning carbon-containing coal and natural gas, sun energy that was trapped in plants millions of years ago. Sadly, ferruginous hawks are sometimes electrocuted by power lines. Imagine the hawk that carries the carbon atom that once was part of your breath, falling lifelessly to the ground. From the top of the food chain, the ferruginous hawk drops to become the source of food for scavengers and decomposers. Slowly, over time, the hawk disappears, turning back into simple things like carbon dioxide and water. In its place, a patch of prairie grass grows greener and taller, nourished by the nutrients released to the soil. The carbon atom, which was in you and in the hawk, takes a different round path than before. As part of another carbon dioxide molecule, it travels through a second food chain. Imagine the carbon dioxide entering a leaf of western wheatgrass, where the carbon atom becomes part of the plant. This time, the grass is eaten by a cow. Cows and grasses go together, just like bison and grasses did a long time ago. Grazing keeps native grasslands healthy as long as it's managed to prevent overgrazing. Cattle and bison can't use many of the carbon-containing products in grasses without the help of internal ecosystems in the first part of their stomachs. Imagine the carbon atom locked in the grass traveling into the cow's stomach, where a community of one-celled bacteria, protozoa, and fungi form food chains that break down the grass, releasing nutrients. The carbon atom that was part of you and the hawk becomes part of the cow that lives on the native prairie. In time, the cow is shipped to a feedlot and then onto processing plants. Finally, the carbon ends up in a frozen beef patty that is shipped to your community. Imagine, sometime in the future, going to a fast food restaurant in your community and ordering a hamburger. It's so easy to buy stuff. Walk into a restaurant or store, pay, get food or other products, eat it, use it, throw away what you don't want. But where did it all come from? What's the real cost to Earth from the way we use matter and energy in our day-to-day lives? In 1996, Mathis Wakernagel wrote a book called Our Ecological Footprint. It was based on his PhD thesis at the University of British Columbia. He calculated how much land was needed to provide the matter and energy used to make all our products, as well as the land needed to absorb all our waste. He called it an ecological footprint. Scientists all over the world have been using the ecological footprint concept to understand how human consumption is affecting the biosphere. It's been calculated that if everyone on Earth had the lifestyle of an average North American, our ecological footprint would be so big that it would cover 5 planet Earths. Even to keep the lifestyle that everyone has right now in all parts of the world takes 1.5 Earths. We're already using up resources faster than they can be replaced and creating pollution faster than Earth can break it down. So why doesn't this seem to affect us in our day-to-day lives? It's because it's hidden in our global economy. We don't see what happens in other countries, the damage to their ecosystems, the pollution and unsafe working conditions, the energy and matter that is utilized. We also don't see what ecological services our native prairie ecosystem provides for us, because much of that is hidden. We may see a cow grazing on the native prairie, but we don't notice the grassland is also storing and purifying our water supply, as well as storing carbon so it's not adding to global warming. The native prairie ecosystem is shrinking as land is taken from resource extraction, crops, or housing developments. Habitat loss is causing a loss of the diversity of life. More plants and animals are becoming threatened or endangered. This is a sign that the ecosystem is becoming unhealthy. Many people think that technology will save the day, and certainly it is important, but the land, plants and animals, connected by cycles of water, carbon and nitrogen, work as one large system that cannot be replaced by technology. Healthy ecosystems provide us with healthy living spaces. One of the best ways to keep our ecosystems healthy or to improve them is to reduce our ecological footprint. Knowing how energy flows and matter cycles in the things we do or buy gives us the ability to make more sustainable choices and make changes to improve ecosystem health. Sustainable means that we can meet today's basic needs while making sure that future generations can meet their basic needs. Ultimately, it is our behavior, the personal decisions we make each day, which will make a difference. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we asked our native prairie, "How are you?" That the response would be, "I'm on top of the world. My skin is blooming with health. I am full of life.